Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, would you believe this is Saturday, March 23rd, 2019. And again, we're up and running to get started in reading the books that we're reading. And as of right this moment, we are The Greatest Miracle in the World by Mandino. We are in chapter 8, just possibly may finish this book today. And I have really enjoyed it, and I'm sure you will too. But anyway, excuse me, here we go. We're going to start on chapter 8. Everybody ready? Buckle your shoes and let's go. Dear Mr. Ogg, I'm ill prepared to deal with the specifics and time-consuming legalities of drawing up a last will and testament. Let this letter suffice. During the past year, you have brought love, companionship, laughter, and good conversation, not to mention an immortal red geranium into the life of an old rag picker. Rag pickers, by the very nature of their chosen profession, are not accustomed to being on the receiving end of life's finer gifts. Nor is it wise to become too closely attached to those whom one desires to help. Still, there are times when teachers must be taught, doctors must be cured, lawyers must be defended, comedians must be amused, and even rag pickers must be loved. I know you love me as I love you. It is fitting and right, therefore, that I beseech the enclosed master copy of the gold memorandum to you, not only to fulfill my promise, but also to bring to a culmination that long series of seemingly miraculous coincidences between your book's great salesman and myself. Perhaps after you have benefited from much introspection and thought regarding our relationship, you will be able to put the past 12 months in their proper perspective and even come to eventually come to the conclusion that it was not as difficult a task for me to write a memorandum for God as it is for you to accept its existence. Since I know you to be an impetuous man, I'm certain that long before you have reached this portion of my letter, you have already sought me out in vain and are now tormented with grief and concern for my well-being. Fear not, banish all worry from your mind. In the words of another rag picker, I now ask you to grieve no more. For where I go, you cannot follow me now, but one day you will. Do not forget that we have a contract. You and I, the God memorandum, is now in your possession, and it is my desire that you share it eventually with the world, but only after you apply its principles to your own life and consonate with my instructions. Remember that the most difficult tasks are consummated not by a single explosive burst of energy or effort, but by a consistent daily application of the best you have within you. To change one's life for the better, to resurrect one's body and mind from living death, requires many positive steps, one in front of the other, with your sights always on your goal. The God Memorandum is only your ticket to a new life. It will do nothing for you unless you open your mind and your heart to receive it. By itself, it will move you not 1 inch in any direction. The means of transportation and the power to break your inertia must be generated by forces long dormant but still alive within you. Follow these rules and your forces will self-ignite. 1. Number 1, first mark this day upon your calendar. Then count forward 100 days and mark that day on the calendar. And this will establish the length of your mission without the necessity of your counting each day as you live it. Number 2, next in this envelope you will find a small safety pin to which has been attached a tiny piece of white rag in the shape of a square. This combination of pin and rag, two of the most common and unprecedented materials in the world, in your rag picker's secret amulet. Wear your amulet on your person in a place visible to you as a constant reminder during the next 100 days that you are trying to live as you're being instructed to live in the God Memorandum. Your pin and rag are symbols, a sign that you are in the process of changing your life from the pins and rags of failure to the treasures of a new and better life. Number 3, do not, under any conditions, divulge the meaning of your amulet to those who may inquire during your 100-day mission. 4, read the gold memorandum before you retire each night for 100 nights, and then sleep in peace while the message you have read gradually seeps down into your deep mind that never sleeps. Let no reason or excuse force you to forego the reading for even one night. Gradually, as the days become weak, and you will notice great changes in yourself, as will those around you, by the 100th day, you will be a living miracle and a new person, filled with beauty and wonder and ambition and ability. Then and only then find someone who, like your old self, needs help. Give him 2 things: your rag picker's secret amulet and the God Memorandum. And one thing more thing to give, as I have given to you, and that is love. I have a vision wherein I can see thousands upon thousands wearing our rag pickers' amulets. People will encounter each other in the marketplace, on the street, in their places of worship, in their public conveyances, in their schools and on their jobs, and they will look upon each other's insignificant pin and rag and smile at their brothers and sisters, for each will know that the other is embarked on the same mission, the same dream, with a common purpose to change their own life for the better, and thus join together, change their world. Still, I prophesize many different situations ahead for you, Mr. Ogg. Should you eventually decide to make the God Memorandum part of a future book, you will invariably be asked by your publisher to make promotional tours as you have in the past for your other books. How will you explain the God Memorandum, since it will not be impossible for you to either produce or even prove that its creator, its author, ever existed? Several challenges will be made on your integrity and perhaps your sanity by those who will refuse to believe your story if you recount it as you have experienced it, and who can blame them? It has not been so long since humans were crucified, beheaded, or burned for far less than you will be required to say in order to be absolutely truthful about me and the memorandum. Nevertheless, I leave it in your care with complete faith that you will tend to it as you would a beloved child. I know how much you enjoy a dare, and so I dare you to use it yourself. I dare you to publish it, and I dare you to share it with the world. Once you said you had a premonition all about me. As you read these words, you know that we shall not see each other again for a long time. There will be no more hours together when we can sip our sherry in the peace and the warmth of a living friendship and a loving friendship that knows no boundaries of times or space. And I leave you for now, not with the sadness, but the satisfaction and joy that we came together and walked arm in arm through this brief moment of eternity. Who could ask for more? Someday, when the world closes in on you, as it will from time to time, pour yourself a glass of sherry and think of your old rag picker. My blessings are with you always, and my only injunction to you is that you continue with your writing no matter what circumstances befall you. You have much yet to say. The world needs you. The rag pickers need you, and I need you. One of my dear friends, Socrates, in his last moments said, "The hour of my departure has arrived, and we go our ways." I too die, and you too live. Which is better? God only knows. Mr. Og, I know which is better. To live is to better, is to live is better. Live in happiness and everlasting peace. With love, Simon. I dropped his letter and stared at the page of type. I picked up the small safety pin with its wisp of white rag and pinned the amulet to my jacket label. I reached across the desk and drew my 5-year calendar toward me. I circled the date and counted forward 100 days, bringing me well into the new year. I circled the 100th day. Tonight, before I turn off my bedside light, I would read the God Memorandum as he had instructed. My hands were clenched together tightly. I lowered my head to my desk until my forehead touched it. Why was I crying? Was it because Simon had left me? Was it because I had suspected too late his true identity? Or was it because I knew that my life and my dreams, my world, would never be the same again now that he had placed his hand upon them? Chapter 10. The God Memorandum. To you from God. Take counsel. I hear you cry. It passes through the darkness, filters through the clouds, mingles with starlight, and finds its way to my heart on the path of a sunbeam. I have anguished over the cry of a hare cloaked in the nose of a snarl. A sparrow tumbled from the nest of its mother. A child thrashing helplessly in a pond, and a son shedding his blood on a cross. Know that I hear you. Also, be at peace, be calm. I bring these reliefs for your sorrow, for I know its cause and its cure. You weep for all your childhood dreams that have vanished within the years. You weep for all your self-esteem that has been corrupted by failure. You weep for all your potential that has been bartered for security. You weep for all your individuality that has been trampled by mobs. You weep for all your talents. Excuse me. Hey, girl. Unfortunately, no, we don't. Yeah, we're sitting close to him. All right. Let me see. Well, if I may, we got interrupted with a phone call, and that's life. That's the way things happen now and then. So I'm going to start from the beginning because I think it's really important and good to hear. Chapter 9, the God Memorandum. To you from God, take counsel. I hear your cry. It passes through the darkness, filters through the clouds, mingles with starlight, and finds its way to my heart on the path of a sunbeam. I have anguished over the cry of a hare choked in the nose of a snarl, a sparrow tumbled from the nest of its mother, a child thrashingly helplessly in a pond, and a son shedding his blood on a cross. Know that I hear you. Also, be at peace, be calm. I bring thee relief for your sorrow, for I know its cause and its cure. You weep for all your childhood dreams that have vanished with the years. You weep for all your self-esteem that has been corrupted by failure. You weep for all your potential that has been bartered for security. You weep for all your individuality that has been trampled by mobs. You weep for all your talent that has been wasted through misuse. You look upon yourself with disgrace and you turn in terror from the image you see in the pond. Who is this mockery of humanity staring back at you with bloodless eyes of shame? Where is the grace of your manner, the beauty of your figure, the quickness of your movement, the charity of your mind, the brilliance of your tongue? What stole your goods? Is the thief's identity known to you as it is to me? Once you placed your head in a pillow of grass in your father's field and looked up as a child, a cathedral of clouds, and knew that all the gold of Babylon would be yours in time. Once you read from many books and wrote on many tablets, convinced beyond any doubt that all the wisdom of Solomon would be equaled and surpassed by you. And the sessions would flow into your years until, lo, you would reign supreme in your own garden of Eden. Does thou remember who implanted those plans and dreams and seeds of hope within you? You cannot. You have no memory of that moment when first you emerged from your mother's womb and placed my hand on your soft brow, and the secret I whispered in your small ear when I bestowed my blessings upon you. Remember our secret. You cannot. The passing years have destroyed your recollection, for they have filled your mind with fear and doubt and anxiety and remorse and hate, and there is no room for your joyful memories where these beasts habitate. Weep no more, I am sure, with you, and this moment is the dividing line of your life. All that has gone before is like unto no more than that time you slept within your mother's womb. What is past is dead. Let the dead bury the dead. The day you return from the living dead, the day, like unto Elijah, when the widow's son, I stretch myself upon thee 3 times, and you live again. This day, like unto Elijah, with the Shadamite's son, I put my mouth upon your mouth, and my eyes upon your eyes, and my hands upon your hands, and your flesh is warm again. This day, like unto Jesus at the tomb of Lazarus, I command you to come forth, and you will walk from your cave of doom to begin a new life. This is your birthday. This is your new date of birth, your first life, like unto a play of the theater. was only a rehearsal. This time the curtain is up. This time the world watches and waits to applaud. This time you will not fail. Light your candle, share your cake, pour the wine. You have been reborn. Like a butterfly from its chrysalis you will fly. Fly as high as you wish, and neither the wraps warp, nor dragonflies, nor mantellins of mankind shall obstruct your mission on your secret search for the true riches of life. Feel my hand upon thy head. Attend to my wisdom. Let me share with you again the secret you heard at your birth and forgot. You are my greatest miracle. You are the greatest miracle in the world. Those were the first words you ever heard. Then you cried. They all cry. You did not believe me then, and nothing has happened in the intervening years to correct your disbelief. For how could you be a miracle when you consider yourself a failure at the most menial of tasks? How can you be a miracle when you have like confidence in dealing with the most trivial of responsibilities? How can you be a miracle when you are shackled by debt and lie awake in torment over whence will come tomorrow's bread? Enough. Then milk that is spilled is sour. Yet how many prophets, how many wise men, how many poets, how many artists, how many composers, how many scientists, how many philosophers, messengers have I sent with the word of your divinity, your potential for guidance, and the secrets of achievement. How did you treat them? Still, I love you, and I am with you now. Through these words to fulfill the prophet who announced that the Lord shall set his hands against the second time to recover the remnants of his people. I have set my hands again. This is the second time. You are my remnant. It is of no avail to ask. Haven't you known? Haven't you heard? Haven't it been told you from the beginning? Haven't you understood from the foundations of the earth? You have not known. You have not heard. You have not understood. You have been told that you are a divinity in disguise, a god playing a fool. You have been told that you are a special piece of work, noble in reason, infinite in facilities, expressed and admirable in forms and in moving, like an angel in action, like a god in apprehension. You have been told that you are the salt of the earth. You were given the secret, even of moving mountains, of performing the impossible. You believed no one. You burned your map to happiness. You abandoned your claim to peace of mind. You muffled out the candles that had been placed along your destined path of glory. And then you stumbled, lost, and frightened in the darkness of futility and self-pity until you fell into a hell of your own creation. Then you cried and vexed your beast and cursed the luck that have befallen you. You refuse to accept the circumstances of your own petty thoughts and lazy deeds, and you searched for a scapegoat on which to blame your failure. How quickly you found one. You blamed me. You cried that your handicaps, your mediocrity, your lack of opportunity, your failures were the will of God. You were wrong. Let us take inventory. Let us first call a roll of your handicaps. For how can I ask you to build a new life lest you have the tools? Are you blind? Does the sun rise and fall without your witness? No, you can see. And the hundreds of millions of receptors I have placed in your eyes enable you to enjoy the image of a leaf, a snowflake, a pond, on a eagle or a child, a cloud or a star, a rose, a rainbow, and the look of love. Count one blessing. Are you deaf? Can a baby laugh or cry without your attention? No, you can hear. And the 24,000 fibers I have built in each of your ears vibrates to the wind in the trees, the tides on the rocks, the majesty of an opera, a robin's plea, children at play, and the words I have love you. Count another blessing. Are you mute? No, your lips move and bring forth only spit. No, you can speak, as can no other of my creatures, and your words can calm the angry, uplift the despondent, grow the quitter, cheer the unhappy, warm the lonely, praise the worthy, encourage the defeated, teach the ignorant, and say, I love you. Count blessing number 3. Are you paralyzed? Does your helplessness from this pull the land? No, you can move. You're not a tree condemned to a small plot while the wind and the world abuses you. You can stretch and run and dance and work further. Within you, I have designed 500 muscles, 200 bones, and several millions of nerve fibers, all synchronized by me to do your bidding. Count another blessing. Are you unloved and unloving? Does loneliness engulf you night and day? No, no more. For now you know love's secret, that to receive love it must be given with no thought of its return. To love for fulfillment, satisfaction, or pride is no love. Love is a gift on which no return is demanded. Now you know that to love unselfishly is its own reward. And even should love not be returned, it is not lost. For love not reciprocated will flow back to you and soften and purify your heart. Count another blessing. Count twice. Is your heart stricken? Does it leak and stain to maintain your life? No, your heart is strong Touch your chest and feel its rhythm, pulsating hour after hour, day and night. 36 million beats each year, year after year, asleep or awake, pumping your blood through more than 60,000 miles of veins, arteries, and tubules, pumping more than 600,000 gallons each year. Man has never created such a machine. Count another blessing. Are you diseased of skin? Do people form or turn in horror when you approach? No, your skin is clear and a marvel of creation, needing only that you tend it with soap and oil and brush and care. In times, all steels will tarnish and rust, but not your skin. Eventually, the strongest of mental metals will wear with use, but not the layer that I have constructed around you. Constantly, it renews itself, old cells replaced by new, just as the old you is now replaced by the new. Count another blessing. Are your lungs befouled? Does the breath of life struggle to enter your body? No, your portholes to life support you even in the foulest of environments of your own making. And they labor always to filter life, giving oxygen through 600 million pockets of folded flesh while they rip your body of generous waste. Count blessing, count another blessing. Is your blood poisoned? It is diluted with water and pus. No, within your 5 quarters of blood, quarts of blood, are 22 trillion blood cells. And within each cell are millions of molecules. And within each molecule is an atom oscillating at more than 10 million times each second. Each second, 2 million of your blood cells die to be replaced by 2 million more in a reconstruction that has continued since your first birth. As it has always been inside, so now is on your outside. Count another blessing. Are you feeble of mind? Can you no longer think for yourself? No, your brain is the most complex structure in the universe. I know in its 3 pounds are 13 billion nerve cells, more than 3 times as many cells as there are people on your earth. To help you file away every perception, every sound, every taste, every smell, every action you have experienced since the day of your birth, I have implanted within your cells more than 1,000 billions of billions of protein molecules. Every incident in your life is there waiting only your recall. And to assist your brain in the control of your body, I have dispersed throughout your form 4 million pain sensitive structures, 500,000 touch detectors, and more than 200,000 temperature detectors. Notion No nation's gold is better protected than you. None of your ancient wonders are greater than you. You are my finest creation. Within you is enough atomic energy to destroy any of the world's great cities and rebuild it. Are you poor? Is there no gold or silver in your purse? No, you are rich. Together we have just counted your wealth. Study the list. Count them again. Tally your assets. Why have you betrayed yourself? Why have you cried that all the blessings of humanity were removed from you? Why did you decide, deceive yourself that you were powerless to change your life? Are you without talent, senses, abilities, pleasures, instructions, instincts, sensations, and pride? Are you without hope? Why do you cares in the shadows, a giant defeated, awaiting only sympathetic transport into the welcome void and dampness of hell? You have so much. Your blessings overflow your cup, and you have been unmindful of them, like a child spoiled in its luxury. Since I have bestowed them upon you with generosity and regularity. Answer me. Answer yourself. What rich man, old and sick, feeble and helpless, would not exchange all the gold in his vault for the blessings you have treated so lightly? Know that the first secret to happiness and success that you possess even now, every blessing necessary to achieve greatest your great glory. You there are your treasures, your tools with which is built, starting today, the foundation for a new and better life. Therefore I say unto you, count your blessings and know that you already are my greatest creation. This is the first law you must obey in order to perform the greatest miracle in the world and the return of your humanity from a living death. And be grateful for your lessons learned in poverty, for he is not poor who has little. Only he that desires much. The true security lies out in the things that one has, but in the things that one can do without. Where are the handicaps that produce your future? They existed only in your mind. Count your blessings. And the second law is like unto the first. Proclaim your rarity. Excuse me, I'm gonna change glasses here for a second. Okay. Consider a painting by Rembrandt or a bronze by Gikas, or a violin by Stradivarius, or a play by Shakespeare. They have great value for two reasons. Their creators were masters, and they are few in number. Yet there are more than one of each of these. On that reasoning, you are the most valuable treasure on the face of the earth. For you know who created you, and there is only one of you. Never in all the 70 billion humans who have walked this planet since the beginning of time has there been anyone exactly like you. Never until the end of time will there be another such as you. You have chosen no knowledge or appreciation of your uniqueness. Yet you are the rarest thing in the world. From your Father, in his moment of supreme love, flowed countless seeds of love, more than 400 million in number. All of them, as they swarm within your mother, gave up the ghost and died, all except one, you. You alone, preserved within the loving warmth of your mother's body, searching for your other half, a single cell from your mother, so small that more than 2 million would be necessary to fill an acorn shell. Yet, despite impossible odds in that vast ocean of darkness and disaster, you, preserved, found that infinitesimal cell, joined with it, and began a new life, your life. You arrived bringing with you, as does every child, the message that I was not yet discouraged of man. Two cells now united in a miracle. Two cells, each containing 23 chromosomes, and within each chromosome, hundreds of genes, which would govern every characteristic about you, from the color of your eyes to the charm of your manner to the size of your brain, with all the combinations at my command, beginning with that single sperm from your father's 400 million, through the hundreds of genes in each of the chromosomes from your mother and father, I could have created 300,000 billion humans, each different from the other. But who did I bring forth? You. One of a kind, rarest of the rare, a priceless treasure, possessed of quantities in mind and speech and movement and appearance and the actions as no other who has ever lived, lives or shall live. Why have you valued yourself in pennies when you're worth a king's ransom? Why did you listen to those who demeanored you? And far worse, why did you believe them? Take counsel. No longer hide your rarity in the dark. Bring it forth. Show the world. Strive not to walk as your brother walked, nor talk as your leader taught, nor labor as do the mediocre. Never do as another. Never intimidate. For how do you know that you may not intimidate evil? And he who intimidates evil always goes beyond the example set, while he who intimidates what is good always falls short. Intimidate no one. Be yourself. Show your rarity to the world, and they will shower you with gold. This then is the second law. Proclaim your rarity, and now you have received two laws. Count your blessings, proclaim your rarity. You have no handicaps. You are not mediocrity. You nod, you force a smile, you admit your self deception. What of your next complaint? Opportunity never seeks thee. Take counsel, and it shall come to pass. For now I give you the law of success in every venture. Many centuries ago, this law was given to your forefathers from a mountaintop. Some heard the law, and lo, their lives was filled with the fruit of happiness, accomplishment, gold, and the peace of mind. Most listened not, for they sought magic means, decisive routes, or waited for the devil called luck to deliver to them the riches of life. They waited in vain, just as you waited, and then they wept as you wept, blaming their luck of fortune on my will. The law is simple, young or old, pauper or king, white or black, male or female. All can use the secret to their advantage, for all the rules and speeches and scriptures of success and how to attain it. Only one method has never failed. Whosoever shall compel ye to go with him 1 mile, go with him too. This then is the third law, the secret that will produce riches and acclaims beyond your dreams. Go another mile. The only certain means of success is to render more and better service than is expected of you. No matter what your task may be, this is a habit followed by all successful people since the beginning of time. Therefore, I said, excuse me, I said the surest way to doom yourself to mediocrity is to perform only the work for which you are paid. Think not ye are being cheated if you deliver more than the silver you receive, for there is a pendulum to all life, and the sweep you deliver, if not rewarded today, will swing back tomorrow tenfold. The mediocrity never goes another mile, for they should be cheated themselves. He thinks, but you are not mediocrity. To go another mile is a privilege you must appropriate by your own initiative. You cannot, you must not avoid it. Neglect it, do only as little as the others, and the responsibility for your failure is yours alone. You can no longer more render service without receiving just compensation than you can without withhold the renderings of it without suffering the loss of reward. Cause and effect, means and ends, seed and fruit, these cannot be separated. The effect already blooms in the cause. The end pre-exists in the means, and the fruit is always in the seed. Go another mile. Concern yourself not. Should you serve an ungrateful master, serve him more. And instead of him, let it be me who is in your debt. For then you will know that every minute, every stroke of extra service will be repaid. And worthy not, should your reward not come soon, for the longer payment is withheld, the better for you. And compound interest on compound interest is this law's greatest benefit. You cannot command success, you can only deserve it. And now you know the greatest secret necessary in order to merit rare reward. Go another mile. Where is this field whence you cried there was no opportunity? Look around thee. See where only yesterday you wallowed on the refuge of self-pity. You now walk tall on a carpet of gold. Nothing has changed except you. But you are everything. You are my greatest miracle. You are the greatest miracle in the world. And now the law of happiness and success are there. Count your blessings, proclaim your rarity, go another mile, be patient with your progress, to count your blessings with gratitude, to proclaim your rarity with pride, to go an extra mile and then another. These acts are not accomplished in the blinking of an eye, yet that which you acquire with most difficulty you retain the longest, as those who have earned a fortune are more careful of it than those by whom it was inherited. And fear not, as you enter your new life, every noble acquisition is attended with its risk. He who fears to encounter the one must not expect to obtain the other. Now you know you are a miracle, and there is no fear in a miracle. Be proud. You are not the momentarily wimp of a careless creator experimenting in the laboratory of life. You are not a slave of forces that you cannot comprehend. You are a free manifestation of no force but mine, of no love but mine. You were made with a purpose. Feel my hand, hear my words. You need me, and I need you. You have a world to rebuild, and if it requires a miracle, what is that to us? We are both miracles, and now we have each other. Never have I lost faith in you since the day when I first spun you from a giant wave and tossed you helplessly on the sands. As you measure time, that was more than 500 million years ago. There were many models, many shapes, many sizes before I reached perfection in you more than 30,000 years ago. I have made no further effort to improve on you in all these years. For how could one improve on a miracle? You were a miracle to behold, and I was pleased. I gave you this world and domination over it. Then, to enable you to reach your full potential, I placed my hand upon you once more and endowed you with powers unknown to any other creature in the universe, even unto this day. I gave you the power to think. I gave you the power to love. I gave you the power to will. I gave you the power to laugh. I gave you the power of imagination. I gave you the power to create. I gave you the power to plan. I gave you the power to speak. And I gave you the power to pray. My pride in you no bound. You were my ultimate creation, my greatest miracle, a complete living being, one who can adjust to any climate, any hardship, any challenge, one who can manage his own destiny without any interference from me, one who can translate a sensation or perception, not by instinct, but by thought and deliberation, into whatever action is best for himself and all humanity. Thus we come to the fourth law of success and happiness. For I gave you one more power, a power so great that not even my angels possess it. I gave you the power of choice. With this gift, I placed you even above my angels, for angels are not free to choose sin. I gave you complete control over your destiny. I told you to determine for yourself your own nature in accordance with your own free will, neither heavenly nor earthly in nature. You were free to fashion yourself in whatever form you preferred. You had the power to choose to degenerate into the lowest forms of life, but you also had the power out of your soul's judgment to be reborn into the higher forms which are divine. I have never withdrawn your great power, the power to choose. What have you done with this tremendous force? Look at yourself. Think of the choices you have made in your life and recall now those bitter moments when you would fall to your knees if only you had the opportunity to choose again. What is past, and now you know forth great laws of happiness and success. Use wisely your power of choice. Choose to love rather than hate. Choose to laugh rather than cry. Choose to create rather than destroy. Choose to preserve rather than quit. Choose to praise rather than gossip. Choose to heal rather than wound. Choose to give rather than steal. Choose to act rather than procrastinate. Choose to grow rather than rot. Choose to pray rather than curse. Choose to live rather than die. Now you know that your misfortunes were not my will, for all power was vested in you. And the accumulation of deeds and thoughts which placed you on the refuge of humanity were your doing, not mine. My gifts of power were too large for your small nature. Now you have grown tall and wise, and the fruits of the land will be yours. You are more than a human being. You are a human becoming. You are capable of great wonders. Your potential is unlimited. Who else among my creatures has mastered fire? Who else among my creatures has conquered gravity, has pierced the heavens, has conquered disease and pestilence and drought? Never demean yourself again. Never settle for the crumbs of life. Never hide your talents from this day hence. Remember the child who says, "When I am a big boy." But what is that? For the big boys say, "When I grow up." And then grown up, he says, "When I am wed." But to be wed, what is that after all? The thought then changes to "when I retire." And then retirement comes and he looks back over the landscape traversed. The cold wind sweeps over it and somehow he misses it all. And he looks over the landscape, child wind sweeps over it, and somehow he misses it all and it's gone. Enjoy this day today, and tomorrow. You have performed the greatest miracle in the world. You have returned from a living death. You will feel self pity no more, and each new day will be a challenge and a joy. You have been born again, but just as before, you can choose failure or despair or success and happiness. The choice is yours. The choice is exclusively yours. I can only watch, as before, in pride or sorrow. Remember then the four laws of happiness and success. Count your blessings. Proclaim your rarity. Go another mile. Use wisely your power of choice. And one more, to fulfill the other four, do all things with love. Love for yourself, love for all others, and love for me. Wipe away your tears. Reach out, grasp my hand, and stand straight. Let me cut the grave clothes that have bound you. This day you have been notified that you are the greatest miracle in the world. Well, looks like Tuesday we're going to end up doing chapter 10. And we ran over a little bit, and I'm not sorry. I'm happy. And I love all of those who come and listen. And I want to thank you for being here. And for now, I love you all. And thank you for coming. And we will close
and see you on Tuesday. Thank you. Bye-bye.